Good afternoon, Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com here with your Hurricane and Hurricane HD video blog for Monday, the 15th of October, 2012. Let's take a look at Rafael here. Not quite a hurricane, but getting darn close. You can see it's got a pretty good feeder band still connected down here to the Caribbean, bringing some squally conditions to the northeast corner of that region. This is Bermuda up here. Forecast track is off to the north-northwest and then a pretty good turn to the northeast here as this frontal boundary comes off the east coast and the flow out ahead of it all turns from southwest to northeast. So Rafael does not have a chance to come much farther to the west before finally turning on out to sea. Remember, I've been talking about vorticity the last several days, and now I get to show you what it should look like when you have a well-organized system. You see that round appearance there with Rafael. It's actually more round in appearance than Paul, Hurricane Paul, is out in the eastern Pacific. And if I take the telestration away and just use the pointer, this is a little bit more oval-shaped than is Rafael. But nonetheless, they're both bundling that energy. The spin or the vorticity in the atmosphere much more efficient, and you get a well-organized tropical cyclone. The forecast track for Rafael is north and then northeast, and finally on out to sea into the open Atlantic. And it should go far enough east of Bermuda that any tropical storm conditions that are felt there, I think, will be short-lived and not of too much consequence. Sea surface temperature is pretty warm, so I expect that it's going to take Rafael a while before it starts to lose its punch as it continues to strengthen over this very warm water. Once it gets up here north of about 40 degrees of latitude, then it should start to weaken and go more into an extratropical phase. It's a different structure in its wind field and its temperature profile. Looking at the departures from normal, wow, very, very warm water compared to normal, almost off the chart over here. And that also is the case, very warm water compared to normal in the deep tropics, which is interesting because we still have October, 2 weeks left, and then all of November to get through. And in fact, you can see most of the Atlantic basin down here in the tropics and just into the subtropics a little bit, depending on how you look at the Gulf and Caribbean region, running at or above normal. The only below normal anomaly is sitting in the central Atlantic there, and that is where Nadine churned up the water for so many days. Looking at Hurricane Paul in the eastern Pacific, it too should curve away from land areas eventually. Coming close enough, though, to warrant tropical storm watches and warnings along the western coast of the Baja Peninsula. But here, too, the effect should be fairly minimal overall, especially since it's not forecast to make a direct landfall. We'll see if it gets any closer than this. There could be more pronounced effects, and we'll look at that again closer tomorrow. The Madden-Julian Oscillation, I think, holds the key to the rest of the hurricane season in the Atlantic Basin. You can see it's really coming into the areas, phases 1 and 2 here, that really favor upward motion and divergence aloft, promoting tropical convection. That is heading into the Western Hemisphere region now, as we speak. The first dot here on the green line is basically today's observed MJO, and is forecast by the Euro here to go strongly into the regions where we look for development. So the latter part of this month could be pretty busy. We just don't know when or where, but I suspect it'll be somewhere in the Western Caribbean. Nothing out there right now. Once we get Rafael out of the pattern, then we'll see how things set up for the end of the month, where we might see something else develop. We'll keep an eye on that. Again, I'm Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, my website. Always a pleasure to produce these videos for you on Hurricane and Hurricane HD. I'll be back to do that again tomorrow.